Hey!
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Black Market. Wanted to do a market review and really a trade review for tonight on Airbnb. Traded Airbnb today for a 52% gain. Wanted to just review that trade with you. So let's start off, I guess, obviously with the overall market and just how the trade set up. And I traded this on the hourly chart because I was going through my squeezes and seeing that Airbnb was squeezing on the hourly. So that's what set the whole trade up. If we look at how the trade set up, so this is the hourly chart, like I said, and I've got all of my charts in synchronization or synchronized, right? I guess. So you can see how the trade set up. So you can see here, if you're looking at the ES around 7 o'clock, it was above the midpoint overall. The market did look strong. So if we go back to the ES chart here, it was above the 21. So I had a bit of an upward bias or thinking that the stocks would move a little bit higher today since it was holding that 21 EMA level. And you can see here on the 1 hour chart, around 7 o'clock, it was above the midpoint. So to me, that signals some strength. It stayed above that midpoint at open and around 8. And so now you can see um, the SPY was above the midpoint. Although the Qs was coming in a bit weak, it still was above the midpoint. XLY was definitely strong um, to start the day, and it was one of the stronger sectors. And then you can see where Airbnb at open, it did have that sell off. Basically, it kind of got some weak hands out at the very beginning, and then it started to move up. So I entered the Airbnb trade actually way down here at 148.84 because my goal entry or my key entry point was going to be the mid Bollinger Band on the 1 hour chart, but I seen where it had came down, so I entered right at the bottom of that squeeze because you can see it was squeezing and there was buying pressure in that squeeze. So for me, that's an A plus setup, and I got a better entry than I thought on this. So I entered right at the bottom of that channel in the squeeze. So if there were, so now since I entered way down here, if there was going to be a close below, then I would have got out. So I essentially I entered at 148.79 and it got down to 148.42. So I had like a 30 cent, risk, right? With that movement down, but then it closed above the midpoint. So once it closed above the midpoint, I figured I'd be in pretty good shape on this trade. And you can see here it held that midpoint at 8, and then it started to break out of that squeeze here around 9 o'clock. I ended up selling the Airbnb. Once I entered down here at 148, I sold at about 152. And I sold for about a 53% gain for there. The other thing that signaled this too is once I seen where Airbnb came all the way down here, um, when I looked at the premiums in that chain, the premiums on those strike prices barely moved. So that's a kind of another signal that this is probably just a wick, and they're probably just shaking out some weak hands before that move back up. Although the ES, you can see the ES, the SPY, and the Q did come down a bit, they still stay within that channel. So that's the main reason that made Airbnb still be strong because they had closed above that midpoint, and it was still just they were all still holding within that channel. And XLY was such a strong sector today that once it made its move and it held that 5 MA, and that was another thing I was looking at too because XLY was definitely strong since it held that 5 MA. That I figured Airbnb would make that strong move up towards the 154 range. Was actually my key exit point. I did exit a bit early just because I seen the SPY, the ES, and the Q show a bit of weakness, and I just wanted to get out since I had. Usually, if I've got a 50% gain or more, and I do see weakness or an opposite direction of where I'd like the market to go, I'll go ahead and exit that trade. So like I said before, I exited for a 52, 53% gain on this. So, anyways, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. If you got any questions or comments, you know what to do. Hit your boy up, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Hopefully, you had a good trading day today. I'd say going into the rest of the week, continue to be patient, look for A plus setups, and go from there. So, anyways, talk with y'all later.